So the Jester 2 dropped on VOD. I did not see this in theaters. This is a film that, it's a Fathom event type thing, and you got to pay a premium for that. And I didn't like the first one enough to bother with this in theaters. But as soon as it hit VOD, I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's check it out. And so, I guess I'll say this right up front. I think that if you're a fan of the first one, I think you will like this. But I think if you don't like the first one, if you were like, oh, the first one was like almost there, but there were some things missing, this and that, then maybe it has a shot. But if you're like, oh my god, the first one was terrible, this and that, then this is probably not going to be for you. I had covered the first film and the 3 shorts that came before it, and I was kind of like okay with it, but I was interested to see what this one would do, mostly because I figured that since the first one had some success to it, that they would get a bigger budget or something, and that they would expand upon the story, because the other one is pretty minimal. And yeah, I mean, I definitely think they expanded on the lore quite a bit. I think that's one area where they improved over the first one quite a bit, actually. So in this one, we are following a like a magician in training, we'll say, a magician enthusiast, 15. This girl is 15, my ass. 15-year-old girl named Max, and she, she's not very popular around town, and so she's out. It's Halloween night. She is getting bullied, and she's trying to impress people with her magic tricks, and she's a lovable little weirdo. And she happens across the Jester, and she kind of flips the tables on him, and that's kind of where the story goes from there. And the Jester takes on a new look in this as well, which they kind of went more for like a Jason Goes to Hell look, is all I'll say. That's kind of what it was sort of ish reminding me of. Yeah, I mean, I think this one is definitely better than the first one, and I thought the first one was fine. So yeah, I liked this, but you have to remember, these movies are really low budget. The acting is very amateur, and this is only going to be for a very, very specific crowd. I think where people will be disappointed, because I think they'll think this is supposed to be kind of like a Terrifier ripoff. Going in with those expectations, being like, oh, it's a low budget clown slasher movie that's trying to ride the success of Terrifier, they're gonna want really gruesome, graphic, practical effects kills on screen. And unfortunately, I just don't think this movie either is interested in that as much, or they don't have the budget. I don't know which. I'm going to assume the latter. I have to assume that they just couldn't afford to give the kills that they wanted. But one thing that I find more actually compelling about the Jester over Art the Clown is they figured out a way to make him communicate in this, even though he is a voiceless killer in the previous films. They kind of got a clever way to for him to communicate in this, and I did like that. And also, with him being this Jester, I like that he is a magician. I like that his kills involve magic, that he is like supernatural, and that he can do these impossible things that are magic related to his victims. And I think that's cool. There's actually a pretty cool bit in this that involves handcuffs. I thought was pretty cool and like messed up. There's some stuff that he does in this that reminds me, I don't want to give it away, so I probably won't say what it is. But it reminds me of an X-Files episode, I guess. That's going to be way too vague for anyone to get, for the most part. But yeah, our main character, she, as I said, these are like very amateur actors, right? And I think the film feels cheaper because of that. But I think the way that she's kind of written in that very classic, endearing way where she's just trying her best. She's just being herself, and everyone's picking on her, and she's just trying to get by and be her. And of course, you're going to root for a person like that, even if their performance is a little bit stiff. I think you're just going to be like, okay, like I want to see this girl succeed. I want to see this girl survive. I want to see this girl get out of it. And I think it's fairly predictable in what's going to happen, but it still was yeah, it's good. I think it's fine for a low budget slasher like this. If you're a fan of the first and you were hoping for just some more lore, more time with the Jester, and a more interesting story, I think this delivers on all of those things. And I think this is an improvement over the first for sure. So I think they're heading in the right direction. I don't know if a 3 is on the table. If the second one made any money, hopefully they could put it towards some practical gore, because I feel like if you upped the body, or not even, you don't even need to up the body count, but if you made it more gruesome, they did have some visual effects in here with the Jester and his magical abilities that seemed like they had been upgraded since the first film. Not tremendously, but just a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Some camera tricks and whatnot. So yeah, it's for a very specific crowd, but I think that specific crowd is definitely members of my audience, of the subscribers that we have here on the channel. So if you were wondering if this one was worth your time and you watched the first one, yeah, but I wouldn't watch this. Could you watch this one without the first one? Yeah, you could. Absolutely. I don't think this ties into that one much at all, outside of just like, familiar iconography, right? Like the Jester himself, and maybe some of what you could glean from watching the first film, but it's all kind of explained here anyway. So the first one isn't necessary, but it is on Tubi for free currently. So if you're interested, and just watch 5 minutes of that, and you can get a basic feel for the kind of level of quality that you're going to be getting out of these. And if you can vibe with that, if you're like, oh, I don't mind these kinds of films, as long as they're entertaining, I'm good. But I know a lot of people who are just like, no, this is too low budget, this is too hokey for me, I can't do it. Then yeah, it's probably not gonna be for you. But yeah, I dug where they took this story. I think this was a smart thing to kind of have the Jester meet his arch nemesis, I guess, right? There's a scene between them when they very first interact at this restaurant table, and he's trying to do his basic typical thing that he does with his victims, and she kind of, as I said, flips the table on him, and I was like, oh, that's the way they're gonna take this. That's cool. So yeah, I had a good time. I liked it, and let me know if you watch it. It's available to rent right now on VOD. I think it's like $10 though, so up to you. Let me know. Adios.